Okay, let me try this again. Imagine getting 3 minutes into a recording and not having a microphone on. Good thing I caught it when I did. Otherwise, I would have been very upset and this video wouldn't be made. So anyways, like I was saying previously, this is a volume control and a microphone volume control out of I'll post a picture of it here in a second, a karaoke machine. It's the VocoPro DA-3700 Pro karaoke machine. It came in with no right channel. So after I tested it out, did all the common things to do for a no right channel, transistors, capacitors, checking for any normal faults, I couldn't find anything. Ended up using the heat cold method on some parts of the board, here, there, and everywhere, and found out that I thought it was actually this capacitor. Let me get a little pointing tool. We could use a Q-tip here. I thought it was actually this capacitor that was faulty, because when I heated it up, it started working. So when I replaced that capacitor, as I zoom in here, I was thinking it was all fixed, but it wasn't. And I ended up thinking maybe it's this transistor, because I think, when you're blowing heat on this, maybe it's just heating up the whole area or whatever it's connected to, and that's what the problem was. But that was not the case. That transistor is good. So on a whim, I just thought, okay, I'll try blowing it on the volume control. Normally it shouldn't make a difference, but it did. I blew hot air very lightly on this volume control here, and this is the main volume. This other pot over here is microphone volume. That's what I'm going to be doing today. Anyways, when I blew hot air on this, it came on loud and clear, and I couldn't explain it, so I had to take it apart. I took bent all the little nubbies up, and what happens is this from here, this gray area, that's all the pot for the volume. In this black area is a gearbox for the motor, because it is a motorized volume control. And in this gearbox there is quite a lot of grease. What probably had happened over the years of this machine being used, the grease actually seeped onto the pot and blocked one of the tracks, and that's why there was no sound. So of course, when you heat it up with the heat gun, the viscosity of the grease breaks down and a connection is made in the pot, and that would make the sound come back on temporarily until the grease firmed up again. So I took it apart, cleaned it up, used contact spray, worked it in, and now it seems to be working perfectly fine. I'm really not sure if I want to say it's a bad design choice. But I don't know, maybe these types of things are just made to fail. But it's fixable, easily fixable, doesn't need new parts, so that's a good thing. So there's a little bit of scratchiness in the microphone volume control, and that's what I'm going to be working on today. I just thought I would share this video with anybody that might be having the same issue, and that kind of actually ended up scratching their heads for quite some time trying to figure out what the hell is going on with this thing. And it's just the grease from the motor. You'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to go ahead and start desoldering this. Itchy nose. Now, I had to be very careful with these contacts here, because I noticed that on this side a couple of pads started to wiggle around. Probably not the best etched circuit board on the face of the earth. Luckily enough, the one that started to lift yesterday was only a pad that went nowhere, so it wasn't really any loss. I definitely want to try to have a clean break of everything that's on here. Now, remember, one of the other videos I had was to not wiggle the traces too much, otherwise you might have issues. But yeah, I don't want to zoom in too much. But yeah, you can see that I'm going to get a real point. I'm tired of it. Nope. There we go. Oh my gosh, man. What a freaking setup I have. Yeah, so anyways, this right here was the trace that I lost yesterday, but it didn't go anywhere, so no harm, no foul. So let me see if I can just pop this off here in one smooth movement. There we go. Then here. Perfect. Just kind of just wiggle this off here. Don't think we have any damage done. Nope, I'll clean that up. Oh, sorry. I'll clean that up in a second. Perfecto. Now let's zoom back out just a little bit. There we go. So we're going to start working on this guy here. I'm going to do exactly what I did with the other one yesterday, which is we have to take these 4 pins up, and you just need a good fine pair of pliers that have bitey teeth. Like so. Like so. I love these pliers, man. These are the Van pliers, the electronics kit version. Excellent. They're really overpriced, but they're really good. I started off with this kit of Van pliers for the electronics, and I liked them so much that I ended up buying a lot of the other Van pliers for removing screws of all kinds of sizes. Not a paid endorsement of Van pliers. One thing, it's sad because I really like the name Van pliers. It's like clever play on words. But you don't have to. These are made by Engineer brand pliers, and you can get the same thing that are Engineer branded for probably around a third less the price. So if you want these types of tools and you don't want to pay the price of a cool name, you can get the Engineer brand. So I'm just going to pry that open there. And this one isn't as bad. Let me just see if I can get you in there. So I'm going to change. Go way in here. That's better. Yeah, so you can see the amount of grease in there. This is actually very light compared to the volume control knob that I had done. It was like oozing everywhere. This one's actually pretty reasonable though. So there. And then you can see this is the pot for the volume knob. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put contact cleaner. Where'd my pointy doodad go? Right down into here and work it in. So let me get my contact cleaner, and I just hit my keyboard. I want to make sure nothing closed on my recording and make sure I am recording. I didn't have a microphone to test the microphone input, but I ordered one that should be here today. Okay, where am I at here? Alright, so let's get a little spray like that, and then just work it in. I usually do one spray, work it in, two sprays, work it in. Then I catch all the excess on a paper towel, and then we're good to go. That's what I did yesterday for the volume control, and it worked like a charm. It worked a treat, as they say. That's my weak English accent, or Australian, whatever you want to call it. It was kind of a hybrid of everything. Okay, so that is very, very like easy going. It's easy to turn now. It'll get a little bit more difficult once we get it back into the gear assembly. Okay, so this goes on. There's actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can see, you zoom back in again. Zoom in a lot. So you can see how it's like kind of like a dovetail fit there. And in here. Those are in, so that's good. You just kind of wiggle it back in. Let me just zoom out again. Like that. Go, nice satisfying click. Everything's in place. That can turn. It can turn a hell of a lot easier than it did before. Perfect. And then all we do, we take our pliers and we bend back down the pins without smashing down the contact pins. Like this, and down it goes. This, and down it goes. This, and down it goes. I'll fix that one in a second. Down it goes. So I'm going to bend that one in a little bit closer to the frame. That one and that one. You take this, a little stab, and there it is. All put back together again. It all works fine. And now all we're going to do is solder this back onto the board. Some motor connections there. Take this, remove that. I'll bring in the circuit board. We just want to line everything up here, get that hair out of the way. It's the thing when you have cats and they climb up on your desk. There. There. No casualties when it comes to lifted traces, which is always a good thing. Now I'm just going to fix this here. Good. Nice amount of wire going through there and there. Just like that. All right, so let me zoom in a little bit for you there. Get some solder. Beautiful. Now I just want to make sure, actually there is a lifted trace there, we're going to have to be careful with that. Man, it's like I didn't put any pressure on that whatsoever. Some of these circuit boards sometimes are so freaking cheap. The whole unit is pretty cheap. You know, to have decent karaoke player, it sounds pretty good. But it was only maybe $350 Canadian. I told the customer that there's really cheap capacitors in it, and you know, you have to watch that. And if it fails, that's probably what's going to fail next. It's the caps. But he wanted me to recap it, and I was like, you know, for the price that it's going to take to recap this thing, it's probably not worth it. Sorry. So he's okay with that. So what I was making sure of was to make sure that the pins were all the way down to the circuit board, which they are. You can see a little bit. You can see that lifted trace there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this down here just like this. And let's see here. A double is right here. There. There. Just like that. That's down all the way, so that's good. We'll go up here to the motor connections. That. That. Clean off my tip. Come back down here. Gotta get a new position for my webcam view because it's all 1/4 is me and then the rest is all empty space. So nice fine soldering here. Don't want to have any bridges. And we should be good. See, do we have any bridges here? Nope, it doesn't, but that lifted pad is really bothersome. See if I can just kind of mash that down just a little bit. It's better. But it's stable, not going anywhere. And that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this thing back together, and then I'll give it another test from there. So I'm going to stop this recording, and I'll see you in a bit.